here is your forecast first.
Well, after the past 48 hours of some pretty severe and intense weather, it's nice to see that things are slowly beginning to calm down as we head into the weekend for your Saturday here. Temperatures a little bit cooler than normal and on the low to mid 80s this afternoon, 81 in the Quad Cities for today. And taking a look at our satellite and radar, we had a few clouds from earlier this afternoon, but they're slowly starting to clear up to get us some nice sunshine and a nice break from what we were seeing for the past couple days. And it's going to be staying like this throughout the rest of the evening here, and also looking to stay pretty dry as we head towards Sunday as well. We have more information on these storms that we've been seeing for the past 48 hours with our Chief Meteorologist, Andy McCray, all coming up right here on our Quad Cities News at 6.
Live from the heart of the Quad Cities, you're watching our Quad Cities News at 6 on Local 4.
Well, the cleanup continues around our Quad Cities after Friday's severe weather causing damage into the metro. And it's been gone through a lot in this last couple of days, last 48, 50 hours or so. Happy Saturday evening, folks. Hami, Arain here with our Chief Meteorologist, Andy McCray. Thanks for choosing our Quad Cities News here at 6. We hope you're safe out there. And, you know, so we talk about yesterday, but we kind of forget about Thursday, too, a little bit. Because we dealt with a lot these last few hours.
Plenty of bad weather on Thursday. Then I think it all culminated yesterday evening with the tornado in Davenport that we're going to talk about, straight line winds and major flooding in Davenport like we haven't had in years here in the Quad Cities.
And today is really this is all about just recapping what happened yesterday and just making sure everyone's kind of checking out in their homes today after being inside all day yesterday. Kind of eases the anxiety a little bit, but now it's like the getting back to work angle now.
And the weather cooperating for today, for everybody doing all of the cleanup, and there is plenty of that to be done.
That's right. That's right. And you said that was an EF2?
Yeah, so we just got a lot of this information a little while ago from the National Weather Service. It was an EF2 tornado, and here's what our team saw this morning at Camping World in Davenport, right outside the store. You can see that RV getting back upright, and there were a couple dozen of them that were flipped over on their sides.
There was a lot of images like that just in the last night, and cars getting stuck too along the streets and across Davenport. At least that's what I saw personally.
Yeah, kind of like a 1, 2, 3 punch from Mother Nature yesterday. Again, straight line winds, tornadoes, and flooding. And Hami, let me tell you a little bit more again about the tornado. It started around Bluegrass, and then it went into Davenport on the northwest side of Davenport. We have some of the stats. I'm going to walk over to the wall and show you some of these here. But check this out. So it was an EF2 tornado, and it had winds of about 120 miles per hour. And it was on the ground for about 7.6 miles. In fact, we're going to go ahead and pull this up on the screen for you now. And it was, get this, 500 yards at times. So this was a big tornado, a strong tornado. Again, EF2. It was on the ground from 5:03 to 5:13, as you can see, and again, it covered 7.6 miles over a 10-minute stretch. So EF2, that's one of the strongest tornadoes that we've ever had inside the Metro Quad Cities area, believe it or not. And it was a strong EF2. That range is 111 to 135 on the EF scale here. So again, 120, so kind of middle of the road for EF2. But once you get up to EF2 and then especially beyond, that's when the tornadoes can cause a lot of damage, as they did yesterday. Here's the path, and we just got this again a little while ago from the National Weather Service. Eventually they'll release a file. We'll be able to put it onto our computer and zoom in even more. So I just had to do a screenshot right now of their graphic here. But it started near Bluegrass, was very close, damaged by Westlake Park and then also E-Mice Golf Course, and then it eventually ended. Fortunately, otherwise there would have been even more damage. But that's the path that the storm and the tornado took, as it carved some damage here in the Quad Cities. And again, that's why we have major, significant cleanup going on today from a strong EF2 tornado right here in the Metro Quad Cities. Again, this would be the 3rd strongest tornado that we've ever had in the Metro Quad Cities, believe it or not.
Yeah, and we've seen just all types of reactions from all, just all communities and everything. I mean, and we just can't underestimate just these last few days. It's just been a lot we've gone through.
And we had the extended coverage yesterday. It started off with a tornado and the wind threat, and then it turned into the major flooding problems that we had yesterday. But again, that's why we were on for so long, is because we knew things like that tornado that we just talked about were possible, and then we knew that it was happening. That's why when we were on the air yesterday.
It's the 24-hour recap here, folks. Now let's check in on our community. Our Quad Cities Ben Klein went around the Metro to speak with people from our area on how Saturday cleanup is going so far.
Well, we got the main tree in the front yard that's blew over into the neighbor, and we're just cleaning up a bunch of sticks that's laying on the ground.
The QC Metro is doing their best to clean up the mess that came from the storm Friday. Winds reached up to 75 miles per hour and trees were knocked down throughout the night.
Well, we were just sitting watching out the window, you know, it was kind of calm, and then all of a sudden got the warnings and the trees just started going every which direction, and told the wife we need to head to the basement.
The damage spread throughout the QCA. Some of the images from Friday look like it came out of a movie.
I mean, I looked up and I was surrounded by darkness, and I could see like, whoa, like, oh my God. And that's when the wind came up.
Slider's house did not even get the worst damage on its street.
This particular house was condemned by the city until the trees were removed from the structure.
If you have broken tree limbs, do not try and remove them yourself.
When customers in the Quad Cities are hiring people for stuff like this, they make sure that they hire somebody that's licensed, bonded, and insured, and qualified for these kind of tasks. Because when it's an emergency like this, and we have storm damage, it's very unpredictable. So it's easy for somebody to get hurt.
The Scott County Emergency Agency reminds homeowners to be aware as you help clean up debris or repair properties, and check with your insurance company before signing any agreements.
And last thing you want to see is a homeowner attempt it themselves or a contractor that may not be qualified.
Ben Klein, our Quad Cities News.
As you can see, we have a waterfall and a lake.
This video is shared with us by Tiffany's Treasures in Davenport, showing us why that small business will be closed for a while. Several inches of water ending up inside the store's basement level. Tiffany Hunt started this veteran-owned business and has been at this location for about 5 years, and now she's working on her next steps.
We have a great following here in the local Quad Cities on our Facebook page for Tiffany's. That I went live last night on our Facebook page for a couple of reasons, to kind of document and also maybe to get a little guidance, because this is the first time I've experienced this, and I had an outpouring from the local community and surrounding areas.
A lot of the items like diapers she uses in her blessing works from the business ended up in the dumpster after the storm, and she hopes to rebuild her supply so she can continue to provide services to people in need. And last night, at the height of the storm, we're showing you Emi's Park damage. It's quite a mess still out there today. Down trees all along the park, along Emi's Park Avenue. We spoke to the city of Davenport this afternoon. Davenport Parks have not been able to make a complete assessment yet of the damage to the park. We'll keep you posted on that, of course. Both Emi's and Duck Creek golf courses closed today. Emi's, a lot of tree damage, like we mentioned. Video shared with us by Emi's pro Ron Thrapp shows just how quickly the water on Crystal Creek running through that golf course. The maintenance team at the golf course spent the day removing tree debris and making sure it's safe for the golfers to return.
This is in the derecho category here at Emi's Golf Course that we've had a lot of damage. Not too many times in the decades that I've been here have we seen this much.
A shed used to house golf clubs and practice gear for the First Tee program was destroyed in the storm, but the program held its classes this morning. Both courses hope to open tomorrow. Scott County, Iowa, declaring a state of emergency in response to those flash floods. Emergency Management Agency says avoid high water activities by creeks, rivers, and streams, and be cautious around water levels, of course. They say the high water levels are receding, but fast-moving water could be dangerous until they normalize. Damage assessment teams are going around Scott County to get an initial estimate of storm damages, and there are free cleanup kits at the Davenport Salvation Army earlier today. That location and Moline will have more on Monday. You see there 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday, and the Quad Cities Community Foundation activates the area's disaster recovery fund to support response needs. It will grant money from the fund to nonprofits across the area to address recovery and response efforts. The foundation says early reports suggest, quote, unmet needs, especially for the vulnerable community, and the foundation working with local nonprofits for a more collaborative long-term recovery strategy. And Mid-American Energy crews are still hard at work restoring power to at least 15,000 customers in the last few days. As of now, just under 500 households without power across our Quad Cities, most of which in Iowa. Now, at its peak, the severe storms cut power off to about 16,000 customers within the metro. The company says they expect to restore the remaining households by 9 o'clock tonight, just in a couple hours. And check this out. You know, we had a lot of rain. When you see this, The severe storm washing away a portable toilet in Davenport. You might have seen this all over social media. We saw some people on Facebook say, imagine going into use it and stepping out in the next county by the time you are done. Another person calling it a floater, and another one saying, talk about flushing the toilet. I mean, geez, but a great video there.
That is definitely a lot of water out there.
Yeah, people are seeing this video all around the country.
It's going all over the world, yeah.
Multiple people reach out to me today and say, this is in the Quad Cities? I was like, yeah, it was that kind of a night.
It was that kind of a night. We were on there for quite some time covering all of it.
And you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you, thank you.
Job.
Andy was talking about earlier how with the tornadoes that we saw from this last night's storms, and we were talking about how that kind of course, you know, after that tornado kind of lifted off, it still kind of continued on into straight line winds. We were talking about how at the Davenport Airport, around 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts there, and then it quickly shifted into what you were seeing there, torrential rainfall. We can actually have a couple numbers here. We have that screen over on our monitor wall just off here. So to kind of paint you a picture of just how much rain that we got from not just last night's storms, but even Thursday night before that storms. So the monthly annual average rainfall for the month of July is around 4.23 inches. That's the monthly average for the month of July for us here in the Quad Cities. Then when you look at the past 24 hours, so this is including last night's rain, we received 2 to 4 inches of rainfall from those storms last night. Most of that rain being in the Iowa side of the Quad Cities, in Davenport and Bettendorf, because that was where the main brunt of that flash flood emergency was during that time, where they received close to 3 to 4 inches of rain. But then when you actually include the night before on Thursday, so the past 48 hours, and you kind of add that together, that brings us up to 4 to 6 inches of rain from the past 2 days here, all coming down within a very short amount of time. To paint you an even bigger picture of that, from all of the rain that we received here around that range, in terms of our yearly rainfall, we are now only an inch below average. How about that? Only an inch below average now after just 2 days of very heavy rainfall. But now things are looking very calm as we get started for the weekend here. Taking a look outside Muscatine, our camera outside of our studio here in Rock Island, and of course over in Bettendorf. Things looking nice and calm for a change to help better our efforts. So everyone kind of focusing on cleanup for right now as that heavy rain pour and all those storms are finally done. It's nice again for the next couple of days here, and our next chance of rain is looking to be about Tuesday of next week. 81 right now in the Quad Cities here, and for the next few hours, still going to be seeing some pretty nice weather with temperatures cooling down towards the upper 60s as we head towards midnight. Take a look at some of these storm reports from last night. These are all within the last 24 hours, including heavy rainfall all across the Quad Cities neighborhood. Let's zoom in here on the Quad Cities to kind of show you some of the reports here. As you know, the heaviest of the flash flooding emergency that we had last night was mostly in Davenport, so that's where a lot of these flash flood reports are. 648, 732, and even a little bit over in the Rock Island and Moline areas, but again, most of that was over in Davenport. We're actually take a look at some of the rainfall numbers. So this is the past 24 hours, again around 2 to 4 inches when you include both Rock Island and Davenport. But if you were to just focus on Davenport, it's definitely more around 3 to 4 inches of rain within the past 24 hours. And then even including Thursdays, as we look towards the past 48-hour rain totals, take a look at some of these numbers. 4.3 inches over in Moline, 5.2 in Davenport, 7.3 inches of rain just off of Wolcott. Lots and lots of rain from those past 2 days. But now things are nice and clear in our satellite and radar here. So for tonight, it's going to be looking very calm throughout the rest of the evening here at 61. Then looking towards tomorrow, going to be seeing a good amount of sunshine as well, just like today, with temperatures around the same at 83 for your highs. Again, thankfully, staying dry for tomorrow. Then as you look at your 7-day pinpoint forecast, temperatures do warm up towards the upper 80s as we head towards Monday. Some slight rain chances on Tuesday, and then we do have another pretty solid chance for some showers on Wednesday of next week.
Yeah, it looks like we finally get to just relax a little bit after these tough couple of days.
Take today and the next couple of days to, kind of recuperate, regroup, and help with the cleanup if you can, of course.
Yeah, and of course, thinking about repairs and other property damage, and it's a headache for a lot of people.
It
with
certainly
this whole
is.
thing. At least we're through now, and now we can just kind of move on to.
We can move on.
What's next? Yeah.
And focus on what next. Exactly.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Sean. Well, postseason baseball heating up for Iowa high schools. Here's highlights coming up next from a wild day in Muscatine. Nick Couzin has next. Sports at 6.
Local sports on our Quad Cities News.
The Indiana Fever getting their first win since guard Caitlin Clark returned after missing 5 games with a groin injury. 99-82 over the Atlanta Dream. Despite struggling from 3, making just 1 on 9 attempts, Clark 1 assist shy of a double-double, 12 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. Fever back to 500 on the season at 10-10 with their next game Sunday against Dallas.
I'm not worried about Caitlin Shaw. Like, she's recovering from injury. She plays heavy, hard minutes. Every defensive assignment, every defensive scout, she's the top of the scouting report. So her shot quality that she's getting has not been great. And we're just so used to seeing her make tough shots. And to be able to do that while she's recovering from injury is gonna be more difficult. That's part of the reason that we want to try to make her life easier and get her some easier looks. And it's going to continue to be hard because every defensive game plan is to not allow those.
Muscatine baseball with one of the craziest comebacks you'll ever see against Burlington. Bottom 4, down 4, Cade DeFelt taking one to the opposite field. That's one of 2 runs in the inning. Muskies down 4-2, cutting that deficit. Bottom 6, bases loaded. Artemio Polaris sends one right back up the middle, scores the tying runs, brings them home. 4-4 now, and not done there. Next batter, Caden Smith, a drop third strike, hustling down to first and beats the throw there. The go-ahead run scores from third. It's 5-4 Muskies. That's baseball for you right there. Still not done. Thomas Norton making contact, shoots one into center. That plates 2 more. The Muskies lead 7-4 now. And then the same inning, let's go back to Cade DeFelt. More RBIs to add to that total. Lines one to short, hustles down to first, and another run scores. The Muskies score 11 in the 6th and win it 14-4. Next up, Assumption taking on Washington. This one all night. Ben Yagi leading things off, takes one deep to center. That's a double, and Yagi setting the tone by getting the boys fired up. Next batter can't place a bunt better than this one. Jack DeLilio moving that runner to third perfectly down the baseline there, and Ben Yagi would score on a sac fly to make it 1-0 Knights. The line keeps moving. Nolan Dittmer taking one to the opposite field. That's scoring. Jack DeLilio from second. There he is getting waved around. It's 2-0 Knights. Top 2 now, Grayson Bellinger on the mound. Nate Nobbs, the lead runner, the pickoff, and that's a heads-up play there from the freshman. Let's go to the bottom half. Already 3-0 and more from Jack DeLilio, making it 4. RBI single up the middle, and the Knights cruise to victory 18-0. And that's just 2 of a million games we have today coming up.
Not a typo, 18-0?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No,
wow.
That was not a typo, not at all.
Quad Cities News at 6 continues on Local 4.
Well, the city of LeClaire celebrating its first art walk with live paintings, local artists, and fun for everyone. Dozens checking out the local businesses and the artwork and strolling through the city's historic streets. 5 artists were featured painting in person during the art walk. One of them, an artist who painted a large-scale mural in Davenport.
I enjoy just talking with other people about art. I love painting, and I just wanted to be out here and show everyone what I can do. Probably the favorite thing I've done was I did the mural in Davenport on 3rd Street. It's the gramophone with the birds coming out of it, so that was a big accomplishment for me.
And the organizer says she hopes the event will continue for many years to come. And we will wrap up our show with our meteorologist Sean Kennedy in just a couple minutes on your local news at 6.
News at 6 on Local 4.
Well, let's wrap up this version of our local news, and just a lot going on still as the cleanup continues around our area.
Yeah, still seeing a lot of cleanup outside, but thankfully we're not seeing any more pretty heavy downpours, at least for the next couple of days here. Here's your 10-day pinpoint forecast. The next couple of days looking pretty good with lots of sunshine.
Looking pretty good out there, and stay safe out there, folks, and stay close to your resources. Make sure you know what you need as the cleanup continues. Thanks for joining us. We're back here on your local news at 10.
Follow Our Quad Cities news 24 hours a day on OurQuadCities.com.